Hello and welcome to Fergies Gun. My name is Nathan Irvine. I'm your host, and I'm joined, as always, by the flexing forever, Mr. Paul Cropper. How you doing, mate?
All right, pal. Yeah, missed you, mate. So the gummers have been minding. You know, it's been a while. Yeah, it has. But we're back with a vengeance. Come on.
We are. We've had 2 weeks of clip shows, and now we're back with a real show. Because I guess, Manchester United haven't played a game in the past 3 weeks, which is always rubbish. They still don't play another game until, we're recording this on Tuesday, 7th of April. And they still don't play until next Monday, I believe. Yeah. Ugh. In fact, they're actually over in Ireland right now, having an intensive training camp, which I'm guessing, if there wasn't bombs falling from the sky over in Dubai, they'd have been here instead. But there you go. We'll miss out on it this year. We'll miss out. For all the right reasons.
There'll be some Guinness drunk on that, won't there?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Anyway, there isn't much football to actually talk about, but we have still got Manchester United news to discuss, haven't we? We've got, and I think it's probably the best place to start, the news recently that came from Alex Crook with TalkSport first, and then everyone kind of snowballed into it, saying the same type of thing. Michael Carrick is now the number one choice for Manchester United to be the manager next season. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Michael Carrick being the number one choice next season?
Michael Carrick, favourite for the manager. Oh, there's no other standouts, is there? And that's helping him. It's really helping him. But to be fair, the job he's doing, why not? Why would he not be number one? I can't think of anybody else that's going that. It's just putting their case out to be, I want to be Manchester United's new manager. So I can't see any other avenue that the club are going to go down. They've all seemed to have blocked off, don't they? All the favourites seem to have either ruled themselves out or taken new jobs, or they're not performing well enough to get the Manchester United job. So, yeah, interesting.
I wrote a newsletter about this on Sunday. I've moved the newsletter, by the way. It's no longer on Substack. Something to do with them supporting hate speech and Nazis. But I've moved it across.
Not a good look, is it?
Nah, it's not really. So I've moved that across to Beehive. You shouldn't have to change anything, the subscribers. They shouldn't have to do anything. It should come through automatically. So there won't be an issue with that. But I did write an article about Michael Carrick being number one choice and said exactly what you just said there. There aren't any standouts right now. And the ones that you probably would go for look like they're about to sign contract extensions. So as Thomas Tuchel, has he signed his extension at England? I think he was first choice.
Yeah, I think he did, yeah. He did,
so he's going to be there until Euro 2028. And then you've got PSG's Luis Enrique, who's apparently said that he's happy in Paris. And why wouldn't you be when you've got endless amounts of cash and they're doing everything to his whim? Why wouldn't you stay? So those two, for me, are probably the standouts. Then you've got, after those two, I'd probably go Carrick, if I'm honest, because Oliver Glasner really hit and miss. I think he hasn't done himself any favours by throwing his toys out the pram at Crystal Palace. I don't think, I almost said Ruben Amorim. I don't think Jason Wilcox or Omar Barada have the stomach for another battle with someone that's emotional like that and talking out in the press. And I think, who else is there? Andoni Iraola, he's probably going to go to Athletic Bilbao because Valverde's standing down. Is he Valverde? I might have got that wrong. You double check that while I'm talking. But he's standing down. So there's talk of Iraola going back to Bilbao and being the manager there. So, and Unai Emery, would you take Unai Emery? I don't know. Not for me. Not for me.
No, it's like the likes of De Zerbi as well, isn't it? I know.
Who apparently rang Manchester United before he took the job at Spurs, clearly in tears, hoping that this would be his way out. Disastrous.
Well, nobody wants to go to Spurs, do they?
No.
Yeah, Valverde, you were right, mate. Yeah, I thought you was.
Okay.
Questioning myself. Okay. But after that, the list, I'm going to get the odds up, actually. The list isn't, you're looking at the likes of Southgate, aren't you? But no. Well, if Michael Carrick's doing the job he is doing now, there's nobody else, even like when we spoke about Tuchel, then some of the decisions he's made for England, because I was
Mm,
to get too sure he's the right man. When he starts calling up the likes of Henderson and Ben White and doing mad things, you're like, I'm glad I'll stick with Carrick
yeah.
because he's just doing mental things. So I think Carrick deserves a lot of credit for the job he's doing, the staff he's brought in to help him as well, experienced on the way. We're moving in the right direction. So for you to, the club will be thinking this now. For us to bring in someone fresh, just feels like you're just going to trip the whole club up again. If we're on a bit of a roll, which we seem to be, and we're heading in the right direction,
Word.
doing anything else and bringing somebody else in doesn't feel like the right thing to do. I don't know how you feel.
I think, and I mentioned this in the newsletter. I think there could be many reasons why they haven't approached anyone else now. It's not just that he's the number one choice, it's that they haven't interviewed anyone. That was the big thing. They haven't interviewed anyone. So the what people are riffing off that is that he is first choice because they haven't interviewed anyone. But at this time in the season, why would you try to diminish his control over the changing rooms? If you say like Thomas Tuchel's going to be the next manager, then everyone in the changing rooms now is going to be like, well, why should I bother listening to you, Big Michael?
Exactly.
No point
It,
saying
it
anything.
just a big mistake it'd be, wouldn't it? But I mean, just looking at the odds now, Nagelsmann seems to be up there as well, and his name's been
Yeah,
mentioned quite a few times, hasn't it? But that's another one where you go, it's a big risk. We've seen what Michael Carrick can actually do in the Premier League against the likes of City, in big games as well. So we've seen what he can do. He can obviously get a tune out of these players, which Amorim couldn't do. Puts them in the right positions. He's also showing a big, what's the word? He's shown a big favoritism towards the kids. He's going watching the kids. He's looking at bringing the kids through, and there seems to be
yeah.
that connection with Michael Carrick and the youth team as well, which is what we want to see as United fans. So yeah, just to throw another name in there, another person in there. I was looking at the odds. There's like the likes of Roberto Martinez are like in the top 10. And you're like,
Oof.
well, they're not. It's not going to happen, is it? They're not. You could literally rule out 8 of those favourites for the job. So yeah, just stick with Carrick. Why not? I was not never the biggest. What's the word? Struggling for me words.
Fan.
Fan of, well, yeah, not fan because that's really really harsh with Carrick. I wanted someone to drag them and kick them on and be a bit of a madhead, a
Yeah.
bit of a nutter. A bit of character, I think, is what I wanted. But
Character.
character, yay! In hindsight, it's probably the worst thing that you could do at United now, isn't it? Just to have someone that's mental in there. Carrick seems to have. He's been calm in the interviews. When he said things, he has said it with a bit of a cutting edge as well, which is what he I wasn't sure if he did have. He has made his point in press conferences. He has done it in interviews as well. Um, and it was that cutting edge that I wasn't sure. The ruthlessness of what you need to be a Manchester United manager. But yeah, maybe he's got it in a different sense, like he was a footballer, calm,
Mm.
but he would put his foot in. But he wasn't one to go shouting and screaming. He'd just say, "No, you do this, you do that, calm down." And maybe that's the future of managers now. The likes of Ancelotti. He was never one for shouting and screaming. And maybe the kids nowadays and footballers with all this money, maybe that's what they need. Maybe all this shouting and hollering and booting football boots around doesn't work on them anymore. Maybe the likes of Carrick with his calm persona is the future for football.
I think, I mean, you're hitting on a point there that he seems to have got a tune out of them just by being the polar opposite to what Ruben Amorim was, and you can't really disregard that as a positive because it was. I mean, they were flat, weren't they? They were completely on their backsides with whatever was going on behind the scenes. And some of the stories that were coming out about like marginalizing players and having arguments, stand-up arguments with Kobe Mainu and Martinez. Ruben Amorim didn't do himself any favors in that. And I feel like a lot of that anger and a lot of those arguments came from the frustration that he was from the people above. He wasn't getting what he wanted. And that just transpired and just manifested itself into what was happening on the training ground. And he became this absolute lunatic. And it was clear he didn't want the job after a certain amount of time. So, yeah, I think you're right. A calm head is probably what's needed right now until the calm head gets run over. And then you need a nutcase back in there again. because you just don't know with these players, do you? And what the culture is going to be like. But before we move on, I wanted to get like I know we talked about this off air, but I wanted to get like a couple of pros and a couple of cons for Michael Carrick being the full time manager at Manchester United. So we'll go through your pros first, and then I'll go through mine. We probably got the same, if I'm very honest. But let's go on
Yeah,
briefly. Why
yeah.
should Michael Carrick be Manchester United manager next season? A pro.
First one is, I mean, the obvious one. He knows the club. He knows Manchester
It's,
United. He's
so
played there. It has to be,
it's what
doesn't
I've
it?
got it's what
Yeah,
at the
it has
top of
to be.
mine.
It has
But
to
you
be.
know, even
It's
even as I was typing it out, sorry, even as I was typing it out, I was like, "I such a cliche." Like, surely you've got something better than that in your brain for why you should be Manchester United manager. But it is. That's exactly why. That's you need that common thread. I feel like we've seen what Amarim's like. Didn't work. He tried to bring a new culture. It doesn't work. They're set in stone, pretty much. So yeah, knows the club. Sorry, go on, continue.
Oh no, yeah, you're right because I was thinking the same thing. I'll put something really good down. He knows the club. Oh, brilliant! Cheers, pal. But yeah, it is. But it's the biggest pro that he's got above all these other managers, isn't it? Like you could say, he knows the league as well. He knows what a Manchester United player looks like. He knows how Manchester United players should perform. He knows the stadium. He knows the fans. He knows the background of the club, which is the biggest pro for him because if you're saying the likes of Enrique, no matter if he is a top manager, he doesn't know the league, doesn't know the club, doesn't know what we expect as fans. He doesn't understand that we expect attacking football all the time. That's what Manchester United expect, and that's what we're used to. So Carrick knows all of this. He also knows the staff, the background staff. He knows them all. He'll walk into Carrington and be like, he'll know faces, and they'll know him, and that's a big plus, in my opinion. Yeah.
And what's your second one?
Second one, I was struggling for a second one. I will be honest. And
I don't think this is a basis to give him the full-time job, mate.
what? Yeah, what I've put is, and I said it earlier, he deserves credit, a lot of credit actually, for the way he's just settled the club down after the mess that Ruben Amorim left. I think he deserves a lot of. He could have come in and made mass changes, done loads of crazy things, but he did what a lot of us were saying to do, especially yourself. Come in, go to 4-2-3-1, whatever it is, 4-3-3. Put Kobe Mainoo back in the team, put players in the right positions, take Bruno out of the six, and he kept it simple. He just went, right, this is what we're going to do. This is simple. And all the players went, yeah, I know exactly what to do there. And I think he deserved a lot of credit for that because I think other managers might have come in and thought, I'm going to put my stamp on this club right now. And that's
Yeah.
what we're going to. And he went, no, I'm going to calm it down, put people in the right positions, and we'll just move up the league steadily. And he's getting a tune out of the likes of Cunha. What he's done with Sesko is another one where he's realised that he's probably not ready to start games, and he's coming on making an impact. Cunha, when he come on at Arsenal, made an impact as well. So these things where that's where a manager makes the money, is it? Making the changes, calming things down, and getting results. And you can't argue with the results he's been getting. There's been a couple of off performances, which we all know that some of these players have got. The Newcastle game stands out.
Mhm.
But he will also remember that kind of performance from some of these players as well. Carrick deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think we've kind of got the same pros as well for why Michael Carrick should be the manager. I've put that he won't rock the boat. And after I said before about Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada failing to deal with or diffuse the Ruben Amorim situation, I think they need someone that they can mold. And I think Carrick is moldable. I think he's his own person. He knows exactly what he wants. However, I feel like in a structure at Manchester United, it will allow consistency. So if for example, Jason Wilcox is calling the shots, Christopher Vivell is making the signings alongside Cal McCauley. If that structure is in place, then it doesn't matter which person should be manager, should be on the touchline. So Michael Carrick is that type of person that would allow that to happen, I think. I don't think he'd be kicking up a stink. I don't think he'd be coming out in the press and saying anything bad about it. Oh, I wanted this player and I didn't get him, and now I'm stuck with this lad. This is the worst squad ever. You know, that's what Ruben Amorim was saying. So I think Carrick is the type of person that would allow Manchester United to build that structure behind the scenes. And it's not, that might make him sound a bit like a patsy, but he's not. It's important in this role that he's got a cool head. He knows the club. He knows how to win games. We've seen that, especially the big ones. And he's not going to disrupt things behind the scenes. And then you can build, and then you can go, right, this does work, or it doesn't work, and we need to give him more of this. And that feedback loop as well would help them. But we'll see. We'll see. It's pretty damn. It's damning praise, I think, that like being a bit soft, a bit spineless. I don't think he's spineless, but I just don't think he's going to argue much, which is probably a positive that they would want right now.
Are you
Anyway,
saying he might feel lucky to be in the job? Is that what you're saying?
not lucky. I'm not saying he'll feel lucky to be in it, but I feel like he'll understand the opportunity that he's got. I don't think it's luck. I think he will know I'm at the top now. I'm at the top in terms of my career. Wherever I go from here now is down. Even as a full-time boss, it's down. And I know that sounds awful, but wherever he goes, even if he goes to another team in the Premier League, even if he takes over at Bournemouth or whatever, it's a step down. And he knows he'll never get this job again. So that's why I think he'll be adaptable and he'll be flexible with it, which I think is a pro. I think is a pro. So we'll move on to cons. I'm sure you've got easy ones here.
Well, yeah. Well, we said this before, and the thing that's going for him now, why the opportunity is presenting itself to him, like we said, there's nobody else. There's no other standout candidates saying, knocking on the door, getting results, and who the fans would accept. I don't think there's anybody else there at all, apart from Nagelsmann, like we just said. That's the biggest con I've got there. So
I don't even think Nagelsmann would be welcomed by the Man United fans unless you're hearing differently in the stands. I think he poses another risk, like a Ruben Amorim for me. I think he's a great manager, but he's another manager, young, up and coming, like really good manager, but no experience in the Premier League. And I think that comes with its problems.
Yeah. Sorry. I've put the first one is experience. There we go.
That's
It's
what I've
experience
got.
at the top.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I've got.
experience at the top level. Yeah, as a manager, because he's got the experience as a player, hasn't he? He's just not got it as a manager at the top. He did well with Middlesbrough, and then didn't do so well with Middlesbrough. But that's the only thing you can. If he had the experience of the Champions League managing, and he had the experience at a top club, you'd be like, if say he was doing well at a Palace or something, you'd be
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, he knows it. So that is the only thing that's going against him, isn't it? I have got another one there, which
I've
go on.
got
I'll let
two.
you go. Yeah,
No, it's all right.
I
But,
put it.
well, just to add on to your not enough top level experience, that's very different to, was it 16 games that he got to be in charge for? So he's got 7 left, I think it is. I think it was 16 when he took over
There's
in
something around
total.
there, wasn't it?
So something like that. Next season, if everything goes to plan and they do get into Europe, again, that's probably a positive for him if they do get in. Like, that's a pro that you can add in there. But if they do get into Europe, we're looking at about 60 games for a decent campaign. And 16 games compared to 60 games when you've gone from being their mate and getting them away from all the horribleness that they had under the previous regime to getting them ticking now by allowing them to do whatever they want. Like there's, like when you've got a substitute teacher and he's like, yeah, go on, crack on, do what you want.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, hey, this is brilliant. And everyone's having a laugh. I think over 60 games or close to that, that's the experience that I feel like that's what he's missing.
Yeah.
And that could be a worry.
Not also the experience of running a pre-season, having a proper transfer window at a massive club, having all that money that we're going to have to spend. Will he get the say so on who to? He does know what a Manchester United player should be, the way they should approach the game, etc. But it's another thing being given the money and say, right, who do you want? That's another decision whatsoever. And the pre-season, they're big.
The preseason. I mean, he's getting an opportunity to do that this week when he's taking them to to Dublin. I know it's a training camp, but it's a case of them being away. How does he handle those players and big egos
Yeah.
and personalities
How
and like
strict are you going to
herding
be? How?
cats? Exactly. Exactly. So he's getting a little bit of a taste of that now, which you might say Manchester United are doing that on purpose to try and see how he acts in that situation, because they'll have to test all of these things before they make that decision with him specifically. Um, but then when you look at the fact that what I was saying before about the positive of him just going, okay, like a yes man almost, he's not going to be making those decisions on who to spend 60 million on. He might get involved in the conversation, but if the structure's there and the sporting director is speaking to all the right people and all of them agree, then that's how it should be. So long now we've been crying out for some consistency where we don't want Eric Ten Hag coming in and buying all the people that are on his agency. Do you know what I mean? And pocketing a bit of cash. I still think he's going to prison for that, by the way. But bringing in these players and then being left with a squad of well, a bag of bits essentially, and then what you're supposed to do with them. I think again, it's a con for him that he won't, for him personally, that he won't get to have the final say on this. However, it's a pro that he will be in a position where he's not expected to make those decisions. And he will probably just go, yeah, okay, yeah, fine,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
there will be meetings about the transfer window, etc.
Yeah,
And it will be a team decision of
yeah,
yes, we need this position. Yes, these are the players available. Yes, they're interested. Okay, get a centre midfielder, etc. So yeah, like you say, it's not all going to be down to him, but it will be interesting if he gets his top targets. Do you know what I mean? But these are the pressures that come at a
yeah,
big club. This is what you just have to deal with. So yeah, yeah,
exactly.
that's one. The next one I've got is I put a question mark after it because I think I put it in one of his pros as well. I've put personality.
Right, okay,
So
yeah.
even though I've said it could be a good thing, it could also be it could be a negative, couldn't it? We don't know how they're going to respond to him, like you said, over a season, and that could be something that goes against him, where he's not as strict as some players might need. They might need a rocket up the backside every now and then, and has he got that in his locker? Um, an arm on the shoulder, you can see him being that. You can see him being a friend. You can see him being someone who's approachable. His door will probably always be open for the players to come and say, knock on his door. I'm not happy with how I'm playing. Right, okay, we'll see what we can do. Blah blah blah. When these players need someone to give them a rollicky, someone to give them the hairdryer, which they will need every now and then, because especially some of the kids, is he has he got the personality to do that without losing the dressing room? I don't know. I don't know if he's got that in him. We know the likes of someone like Roy Keane would have it in him. Maybe he'd overuse it and the players would switch off. I'm sick of listening to that kind of thing. So he will have to give them a rocket with the backside. He might do it in a different manner where he would be, you disappointed me today, players. That might be his way of doing it. And then players might respond to it that way. So I've put personality in there because it could go either way with him because we just don't know how the players are going to respond. And the only way you know is when they come out of the blocks against City. That's the only way you'll know if
Brilliant.
they're responding to the manager. When they come back the game after the Newcastle game and get a win. When you go a goal behind and you end up winning, that's when you know if they're with the manager or not. And that's the only time will tell, really, whether he's got it in him.
Yeah. I think in the modern day, especially with like in modern society, I think softer, not softer, but a more level-headed leadership is needed. I think the days of just shouting at people till you're blue in the face to get something done are probably long gone. Who'd want to work for a manager like that? Do you know what I mean? Like when in actual fact, one of the criticisms that was leveled at Ruben Amorim was that he came across really well and fans loved what he was saying in the press, for the first 6 months to a year or so. But behind the scenes, he was super cold. He didn't talk to the players at all, and he wanted that division between them. So he didn't go out with them when they were going out, apparently, like around Manchester when they was doing the team meals and things like that. He wanted a really frosty like, well, not frosty reception, but just he wanted that to be I'm the boss and you're the player, and that's how it stays. So don't be coming knocking on my door. That time when he said players can come and knock on my door and ask me, no, that's not how he is. And that came from that that came from a senior player at the club
Mm.
that said that had mentioned it to someone that plays professional football out here who was on our radio show. So I think that's probably, I think that's a bit harsh on Carrick because he doesn't have that shoutiness, or he doesn't come across as having the bit of being a madman. Although apparently after the Newcastle game, he did give him a rollicking. Apparently, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
My
We
my
don't know, do
my
we?
exactly, and you just have to go with it, because if you start vetting people on these point systems, like we're never going to know the ins and outs of anything. So if you start vetting people on these point systems, you'll never sign anyone, because not everyone will hit all those 50 points. But
Well,
the
on that
only
is we knew when Ruben Amorim had lost the change room. You could see it, like, that was my point. You could see he'd lost the change room, couldn't you? With those 5 games that we always mention, and now you can hopefully we'll be able to see with Carrick, and we have seen in certain games where he is able to make them raise it. So that's the only proof that we get as fans, is when the players are producing on the pitch.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's it. That's all. That's all you can hope for. My only the last word on it is one of the reasons why, or one of the cons for why I don't think Michael Carrick should be next Manchester United boss, was that at Middlesbrough the fans criticised him for not having a plan B. And when they finished 10th, so they didn't. I feel like they had the tools there that could have got them promoted, but they finished 10th in his final season, which was a disaster, considered as disaster. Now, would the right team around him help him? Who knows? But just in terms of a con, if you haven't got a plan B, especially in the Premier League, as we saw with Ruben Amorim, if you haven't got a plan B, you are not going to last. We are resurrecting one of our old features that we started out with back in 2024, I think it was. It was a bit of a fan favourite. It was one of our favourite features to put together. But you, Mr. Paul Cropper, have never done one of them. It is, of
No.
course, overrated, underrated, where we basically look at a Manchester United player from the past or present and then decide, well, you're going to decide with reasoning, why they were either A, overrated, or B, underrated. Do you want me to give you a little clue? Do you want to try and guess who it might be? Do you want 3 clues? Who this
3
could be?
clues.
'Cause
Let's go.
I haven't told you who it is, so they'll
No.
get more and more difficult. No, they'll get easier as they go.
Right.
Right,
Let's see.
ready?
Don't make it more difficult. Yeah.
Nah, I won't make them difficult for you, mate. Right, I'll make it fairly hard to begin with, and then we'll do the easy ones. So, 200. This player has played or had played. Well, there's a hint for you. 230 games for Manchester United, scored 40 goals, including some absolute bangers. Would you like to guess? Or would you like me to continue?
Continue. Go to the next one.
Continue. He was trophy laden at Manchester United. He won 4 Premier Leagues. He won 2 League Cups, Champions League, and a World Club Cup.
Bex.
David Beckham is wrong, unfortunately.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to give you the last one, and it'll give it away. But he constantly lived in the shadow of one of the greatest players of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Constantly lived in the shadow. Antonio Valencia?
No.
No,
It's, of
go on.
course, his Portuguese compatriot,
Nani.
Luis Nani.
Luis Nani.
Yes, mate.
Okay.
Luis Nani. Is he,
Yeah.
Cropper, is he overrated or underrated as a Manchester United player?
Oh, that's not an easy question, that is it, Nathan?
No, it's not supposed to be.
Oh, it's not. It's not. You've done well. I'll tell you what I'm thinking first. I'm thinking he was overrated. That's what I'm saying. But
Okay.
I've heard the likes of Rooney and Rio Ferdinand and players like that who say he was unbelievable. Even Paul Scholes says unbelievable things about him in training, the goals he scored and things like. I'm thinking of the game at Arsenal, where he turned their fullback inside out and dinked it. Oh, he did score unbelievable goals with both feet, and his talent. I don't think his talent was better. He should have been better, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I think because he
Okay.
had everything. He had pace. He could go both ways. He did score. I mean, when you said those stats of the goals, I'm thinking that's like a goal every 5 or 6 games. Who could
Right.
that be? That's a really good record. I think he should have been better
Mm.
because
But
he had everything.
okay, so I will ask you the question again. Was Nani overrated or underrated as a Manchester United player?
Overrated. I'm going to go with overrated.
Okay. I think one of the things that stopped him from reaching his potential, as you say, because I kind of agree with you to a certain extent, he, as I said before, he lived in Ronaldo's shadow. We all wanted the next Ronaldo. That's how he was billed when we signed it. He was going to be the next Ronaldo. And although he did score some absolutely fantastic goals, his celebration, we all remember his backflips and the cartwheel flips and everything when he was doing kick ups. And I think was it Lauren that booted him?
It lumped him. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went into corner, didn't he? Doing kick up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or was it Sanya? It was one of the Arsenal players, but yeah, ended up booting him. They were good times, but I feel like had he just arrived at the club as Luis Nani, not Luis Nani, Cristiano Ronaldo's long-term successor, I think he'd have had a really good career at United. And I think he did well. I mean, look at I just read out what he won.
Yeah,
4 Premier
yeah.
Leagues and even got a Champions League as well. I think he really did add something to Manchester United. Not enough, and that's where I agree with you. I don't
Mm,
think he added enough to it. But in terms of overrated and underrated, I would probably say the opposite. I think he
okay.
was underrated by United. And I think the reason why I would say I feel like he's underrated was because there was so much pressure on him to perform to that level that Cristiano Ronaldo was at. Every game was that, even rival fans were accusing him, the Tesco Ronaldo,
Mm,
the Aldi Ronaldo. That's the type of horrible nickname that they was giving him. But in terms of what his output, like you say, scored some decent goals. I think he's got a decent assist record as well. I have to dig that out. But I think he was
it's
underrated by Manchester United.
not everybody can be a Cristiano Ronaldo, so maybe it's a tough bar to set to say maybe he didn't reach them heights. So yeah, I get what you're saying. He did have a good career, as you just said. I feel like the mentality of him was, I'd want more. You've got everything. Just give me more, give me more. I'm thinking of when he started crying at Anfield as well. To be honest with you, that kind of
That
well.
was the first thing. That was the first thing I thought of when I was typing
Yeah,
it, and I was
yeah,
like, "Oh
yeah,
God, you don't cry,
yeah.
lad."
I'm that's got to be a big X against you, hasn't it? But had a good career, didn't he? To be fair, but
Mm.
he's probably, if you got to apply a chart, he's probably bang in the middle, in it, where you go, because to say he's overrated feels harsh when I was saying it, but I can't say. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with that. I think he should have done better, but how can you say he should have done better when he won everything? Now, tough one. But
But I think that's the whole point of this feature. It's
yeah, I
how
like it.
we feel about certain players. It's about thinking back to that time when they was on the pitch and having that emotion. Oh, he's messed it up again. Or come on, once they want you. Sorry, you want to get out of your seat because they're doing something spectacular. You never quite got to either one of those levels. It always felt like, as you say, I mean, the average score would be 5 out of 10. That is the average by maths. But he's a player that I think will give you 7 out of 10 every game. 7 out
I'll
of 10.
throw a question to you. Would he
Oh,
start in this Manchester United team?
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think he gets in it.
Don't you? I think he plays on
No.
the left instead of Cunha.
You think he's better than Cunha?
I think he plays on the left ahead of Cunha, yeah. I think he's given what Manchester United do down the flanks right now, Lewis Nani's
Mm.
a better player to do that than Matthias Cunha.
Interesting. Get
Controversial?
that clipped. Yes,
Get it
I agree.
clipped.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. I think that is controversial. But a squad player all in, won everything, should have done better. Croppers transfer corner with a broken phone. Everyone might have heard my phone fall. So it wasn't my wallet, it was my phone.
It's all right, mate. The power of editing will make sure that doesn't appear on the clip. One thing I did want to say ahead of you doing your Croppers transfer corner, mate. Breaking news from Manchester United.
Oh,
Harry Maguire has signed a new deal until June 2027, as expected. So he's extended by a year. And apparently, Fabrizio Romano says, next up is Kobbie Mainoo. So there we go. Bit of breaking news.
I
So
did read
2
that.
players that won't be going anywhere. But
And
who will be going somewhere? Who will be going somewhere in
Hey,
Croppers
I like
transfer
it.
corner?
I like it. Right. Well, we'll do the ins first because there's quite a few of them. I'm not going to do the Anderson, Tonali, etc. Lot because they're there every week, aren't they? There was 2 that I wanted to discuss with you. A position that I've said before that we definitely need to upgrade. It looks like the club agree. Left back. The rumour, because we've not spoke for 2 weeks, have we really? The one that
Yeah.
surprised me was Lewis Skelly from Arsenal. Because them rumours seem to come out from nowhere. And he made some quite outlandish the right word? He made some comments, didn't he, about Aiden Heaven, about how good he was telling him it is to be at Old Trafford. And for a player to come out and say that, he's sending out a message of play me or I'm going. And he played at the weekend for Arsenal, didn't play very well, to be fair. But I've never really watched him that close because he's an Arsenal player. Why would he come to you? But when they make comments like that, I thought, oh, well, I'll watch him a bit closer. And he drifts into the midfield and he gave the ball away quite a lot. But when that rumour come out, I thought we are crying out for a new left back. He is a potential England starter, along with the other one we'll talk about. And it looks like United are showing an interest in. So I wanted to comment. Look, it's saying here 40 to 50 million. I think Arsenal probably won't double that. But the rumour is there, Nathan.
Was he out on loan? Have I remembered wrongly? Was he out on loan earlier on this season? Did he
No, I
go
don't
out
think so.
to
No.
France? No.
No,
He's been a bit of a
I'm gonna
fringe
double
player
check.
that's been in and out of the team. And as I always say this, I don't want the players that can't get into the top teams. I want the players that are already getting into the top teams at Manchester United. So you should always be going to fish for the best. You're probably going to talk about the player that I think should be playing left back in a second, but yeah, the Lewis Skelly one, he's a good player. I think he strengthens that position, but I also think that we've got potential in that position that could have the same ceiling as him in terms of where they could get to.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree. I think there was a lot spoken about. I think Gary Neville gave him some really good, glowing references about 6 to 12 months ago. But like you say, if you're not getting in the Arsenal team, I mean, I know Calafiore is a good player, a top player, but you would be expecting, whether he's had a few niggles, a few injuries, or similar, whether his contract is up for renewal, and we don't know what the games that Arsenal are playing behind the scenes, do we? But for him to come out with those comments, I thought, oh, an England youth international, potential England starter, 40, 50 million, left back in a position that we need. I wouldn't be completely against it. I do think there are other players.
Still only 19 as well. I didn't realise he's still only 19. I thought he was in his 20s.
Yeah. No, he is a young kid. Yeah, so his potential is there. So, like I said, that's one left back. The other one, which I think all United fans would probably be the favourite to come, is the lad from Newcastle, isn't it? Lewis Hall. Yeah, who is looking more and more like one of the best left backs in the world at the minute, in form wise in the Premier League. Every game when you watch him, he's a standout performer. Had a
Mm.
tough game against City the other week, but I think almost every game I've seen him, I thought, wow, this kid is a proper player, and he seems to have because a lot of people, myself included, are a big fan of Livramento, and
Yeah.
Lewis Hall seems to have come in and gone, no, this is my position, and you can't get him out of the team. But I think even though Newcastle, if they don't get Champions League, would they would want 80 million minimum for him because he is looking like he will go to the World Cup with England, probably start, and I think he'll probably be England's left back for the next 10 years, really, to be fair, because he does look top class. But other teams will also be interested.
Yeah, I think it's one that got away for Chelsea. I think they were pretty upset that he didn't want to stick around. A little bit like the Cole Palmer situation at Manchester City. He wanted first team football and he wasn't offered it at Chelsea. So he decided to move on and go to Newcastle. And he's been fantastic. He's got a little bit of the Luke Shaw's about him in terms of his build and the way that he approaches the game. I always thought that, and I still kind of do, Harry Amass is probably going to be the long term successor down that left wing back role. Um, but I don't. I'm think Lewis Hall's brilliant, right? And I think he should be. If he's available, then Manchester United should be going for him. But it's one of those positions that when you take a step back and you look at, you go, we're actually okay there. There's other places that you probably go and try and work on first because you got Dorgu that plays there. When he comes back, is he going to be playing up front? Who knows? Do you know what I mean? So you've got Dorgu, you've got Harry Amas, you've got Diego Leon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Martinez can
Luke
play
Shaw.
there, not
A-
very well. Luke Shaw.
And Luke Shaw. Yeah.
You got a few down there. There's another lad as well. Didn't we buy a left back recently from somewhere? We got him from some youth team. Oh no, that was it. We got beaten to him by I think Chelsea. Sheffield Wednesday left back, left
Oh
wing
yeah,
back.
yes, yeah. I
Yeah.
know, the kid you're talking about. Yeah. I think you're probably right, aren't you? But the club are looking at where they can strengthen, and it is a position they can strengthen. Another name that's been thrown around there is I mentioned Anthony Robinson from Fulham is another one, and
Do you know how old
yeah,
he
I
is?
like him. I
Do you
don't.
know how old he is? Have a guess.
28.
Let's get it up.
Gonna go with
He
that.
is bang on, mate. Bang on.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
Which
he's
which
just
for
a million
me,
player.
I think he's a good player, but for me, that's you want to be bringing some young lads through.
Hmm.
Like he's. Would you say that he's at his peak now at Fulham?
Probably. Yes, I don't think he's going to get much better, is he? No. But yeah, I
Exactly.
can see your argument there. But I think we need a left back. I can just because Luke Shaw is obviously he's very very injury prone, and you can't expect Dorgu, who's not comfortable in the left fullback position, better on the left wing, like you said. Um, Harry Amass next season, not sure what you're going to get from a young kid. We know what you're going to get from Lewis Hall. You probably know what you're going to get off Lewis Skelly. So I think it's a position that the club are probably looking at, but they will not want to be spending 60,
Mm,
70, 80 million there.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
that's going to be the problem because we've got, like you say, other positions where the priority lies. So if they can
Yep.
get a bargain with somebody, maybe a few places. There's a rumor here one of the outs is Ugarte, and Newcastle heavily linked with him. Whether there's a swap deal potential, that's there as well. So,
Did
mm.
you hear about the rumor about why Manchester United signed Manuel Ugarte? It came from Andy Mitten on the Talk of the Devils podcast.
No,
But
it
he,
wasn't because he could pass the ball, was it?
well, absolutely not. It was apparently to do with the Lenny Yoro deal. So George Mendes brought in, or like, he took Lenny Yoro to Manchester United instead of Real Madrid. But allegedly, one of the conditions was that they took Manuel Ugarte, a player that wasn't playing at PSG, into the Manchester United team to get him a move away. So they came as a package deal.
Yeah,
There
the
you
world
go.
of football is a little bit bent sometimes, isn't it? I
Buy
think we all
buy one,
knew
get
that.
one free, or in this case, 50
Yeah,
million.
yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous. Have you got any
Shambles.
more there?
I have, yeah. I've got two more ins, but we know midfielders are on the list for United, and this is another name it's been mentioned before. I think we were linked with him before he moved to Aston Villa. But it's looking now that Aston Villa are looking at selling for around about 60 million. Is Amadou Onana, 24-year-old. He's had a good, decent couple of seasons at Villa, and it was Everton when he was at Everton. He
Not for me, that lad.
you're already not happy, are you? Already not happy with that
Nah,
one. I think
nah.
when he moved from Everton to Villa, I was kind of, we could have done with somebody of that. But I think they paid quite a lot of money for him, Villa, and now it's another team that's going to be looking at selling if they don't make Champions League football. I think he could do a job in there for United, but I think there's probably 8 or 9 names that would be more favourable to the club than himself. But 60 million, you're not having it?
No chance. I think we've been conditioned to thinking that we need a Yaya Toure when I don't actually believe that's true. And I know this has been going on for the best part of a decade, but I don't think it's necessarily true. I don't think we need a massive destroyer in there because if you look at Casemiro and Mainu now, especially in the big games that we played against Arsenal and that they played against Man City, they can control the game and dictate the pace based on what they do. They're not running like headless chickens because everything else is organized around them. Ruben Amorim had us believing that, we needed legs in there, which I agree with to a certain extent, but then he wouldn't play Kobe Mainu either. So you need legs, but you also need control. Casemiro and Mainu are they both control the game. And I think that's more important these days than just getting someone in that can run box to box. Because if you look at that Barcelona team, the lads that are operating in the center of that park, they're not like destroyers. They're neat and tidy and they keep the ball and they're press resistant. And I think that's the most important thing right now. So someone like Onana, and let's not forget, we're already scarred by the Onana name with the clown that we had in net. I just don't think that type of player fits what Manchester United are trying to do moving forward. Could be proven wrong. That might be someone that they do go for, and in which case you have to get behind it. But I don't think that rangy type of player is what we need in the middle of the park. I just can't see it. So it's a no from me. Sit down.
Fair enough.
Onana.
Sit down, Onana. Another one. Don't want another one. The last one that I've got as an in is, and it was Rio Ferdinand actually who brought it. We've spoke
Rio
about him before,
Ferdinand,
Nathan.
no chance,
Get
mate.
Rio
He is
Ferdinand
well
in. Get him
past it.
signed up. He's back on.
He's
Yeah.
past it. He's back.
He
That's
was
gone.
talking about him this week. We know he's been scouted. I think it's been rumoured before, but Keith Smith is another one who's been heavily linked to Manchester United at the minute. And the more you look into him, because when you first mentioned the name to me, I was like, oh, interesting. I'll go and have a look. And you look at him, oh, he's a bit of a tasty player. But I think everybody else now is clocking on that how good this kid is going to be. When I first looked at him, the first thing I saw was Real Madrid are interested. As soon as you hear that from a kid, you go, well, he must be half decent. And then when you watch him again, you go, well, he definitely is half decent. And then you look at the list of, and then all of a sudden, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, everybody's interested in him. But the strong rumour is that Manchester United are very, very interested in him. 30 million seems to be the amount. 30 million euros seems to be the amount that they're going to accept. Seems to be having a very good season. Rio Ferdinand, interestingly enough, said Manchester United are looking at him, but he's probably 12 months away from where we need him to be. But they don't want to miss out on him, and because he is that good. Because somebody else will snap him up and just save him for 12 months and introduce him slowly. So yeah, the big rumor is if you've not seen him, go watch him. Very talented player in the Kevin De Bruyne mold, if you like.
Yeah,
very talented.
It looks a little bit like him as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he plays football the same way. He does. Frankie De Jong, Kevin De Bruyne, that type of player. Yeah. So very talented
very good.
player. Yeah.
I would take that. One that I wanted to add on here was that Ederson looks like he's going to Atletico Madrid. So he's one that you can chalk off.
Yeah,
so,
I've got him. I've got on the board. He's gone. But yeah, it looks like they got themselves a bargain there. But we were linked with him for years, weren't we? And it was one of my favourites to come in. And so they obviously, for some reason, the club weren't willing to take the plunge. on him. But Owen Hargreaves always spoke very well of him, said he's exactly what we needed. But looks like the club are definitely looking elsewhere. I think we all know where they're looking, don't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Outs,
Oh, you got outs. Go on then.
just the one. Just the one. I mentioned it
I
earlier.
thought it was Ugarte. I thought that was it.
It is Ugarte. It is Ugarte
He's
being
back.
linked with Newcastle. He's gone.
He's
Yeah.
back and
Can
kicked out
yeah.
twice.
Is Lenioro going with him again? Yeah, Newcastle and Juventus are showing interest in Ugarte. Looks like the club. Well, it says here 30 million. I think United will probably take 15 million for him, but don't tell anyone. But yeah, being linked with Newcastle and
Newcastle
Juventus.
United, Juventus. I'd say he's probably more suitable to Notts County. What's the link there? What is
Oh, the
link?
kits. I love it. I like it. Well done.
There
Well
we go.
done.
Rip the top off then. Let's get the Gummers mailbag open, mate. What have we got in there?
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me
No,
these games.
not your actual top.
Put it away.
Not again.
Oh, from Rick, we've got, do United need another striker in the next transfer window? And what profile?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
One
There you
that
go.
can
Done.
score
Yep.
goals.
Yeah. An easy one.
I think they need, the profile that they need is someone, a veteran. They need someone in there that Sesko and whoever else is coming through, maybe Chido Olbe, can learn from. I mentioned it before, and it's pie in the sky. It's never going to happen. But Harry Kane is the ideal one that you would get in there as like almost like first choice striker, but knows that his legs are going. But again, everyone that writes off Harry Kane, we write him off. Oh, his legs are gone. Oh, he's slow, and he's this and he's that. Do you see that goal he scored the other day?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Unreal. Brilliant. Like that is one of the most natural strikers that England has ever produced. Unreal. Yes. And I would take him in a heartbeat, and I would pay 60, 70 million for him now to get him in next season. But I think,
is it called Holness came out and said he's worth 100 million or something, didn't he? Last week?
And to be honest, I don't even blame him for saying that. He's a top player, top player. I think if you're going to get a striker, you need someone that's got experience. I don't think trying to sign like an Isak. I don't think trying to sign an Isak is going to be beneficial to Manchester United right now. I think they've got Chido Obi. I think they've got Benjamin Sesko. I think they've got Brian Mbeumo that can play there, who's going to offer a different type of threat throughout the season. And when you've got those players, you need someone that's got experience. And even Tony, I know we talked about him ages ago, but that's the type of profile that I'm thinking of. You might disagree, but who do you think?
Completely agree with you. There's another name who's been rumored to be having question marks about his next contract. Robert Lewandowski is a name that I'll throw out there. Would be perfect in the Harry Kane mold. That type of player. Another one would be someone like Osimhen, who can come in and just start 25 goals a season. But we know he ruled himself out with the wages. Just another one where apparently he's not quite happy with the deal that Barcelona have offered him, Lewandowski apparently. So if there's a chance of somebody like that, Harry Kane would be absolutely perfect, but they're not easy to get out of it. So
no, definitely
yes,
not.
I would say we do need a striker, but it's going to be very tough to get the type of player that we need. Another Cavani would be perfect once in it.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, Cavani, Zlatan. That's the type of player that you want right now. Yeah. So
that's the profile, isn't
hopefully.
It? Good question. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, was a good question. The other question that I've got in Gummer's mailbag is from Damo, and he says, do you see any of the young players flying to this Dublin training camp this week making the first team this season? We talked about it earlier on, didn't we? We talked about the fact that they've gone over to Dublin to have like a training camp. The young players that he's talking about that are part of this squad that haven't been in there is Dermot Mee and Fred Heath, two goalkeepers. I would say you can rule both of those out of playing this season in the Premier League. Yuel Helafu, never even heard of that lad, but he's a defender apparently. Yuel
Helafu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never heard of him. Jim Thwaites. and
Yep.
Victor Musa are the names of the
Yes.
young lads that have gone across. So there's no Cheeto Obi, there's no Shea Lacey, there's no what's he called? JJ Gabriel. So these are
Ooh.
probably the closest, without saying it, these are probably the closest to making an appearance in the 80th minute against Brighton at the end of the season. But do you think any of
Yeah.
those would play?
The when you sent me that, because I have seen it, and you've underlined a couple of them. The Jim Thwaites one doesn't. Obviously, you probably, if you listen to this podcast before, you know my thoughts. I think he's potentially one of the best we've had to come through. So he
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. He's gone. The Victor Musa one really, really surprised me, because you think it would be Chido Obi that had gone,
Mm.
and he'd be the man there. Now I know there was something last week that come out and said we feel like Chido Obi's progressing at the rate we want him to, which
Yeah.
means they don't want to push him. They don't want to push him too far, because I think they tried it with him, didn't they, in the first, and then they kind of went, "This lad's nowhere near ready. He needs a good run in the youth team." But the Victor Musa one, he seems to. I don't know whether it's just because I think the youth team have got a couple of big games coming up, haven't they? I think they've got like a Champions League game or something. There's a big game coming up for the kids. I can't remember what
So
it is.
is it
I'd have to look
the
into.
cup game? Is it the cup
Yeah,
game
I
at
think
Crystal
there's a
Palace,
European
Selhurst
Cup
Park?
game, and there's a couple, Nathan. I think there is a European game in there as well. So whether they've left, I know they've left JJ Gabriel because they didn't want to take him, because they want him for that as well.
Mm.
So maybe, but why would you take Jim Thwaites then? Do you know what I mean? There was these things that I was thinking, well, why would you take him? But Victor Musa, um, he's not. He has recently been playing. He played like 90 minutes, 85 minutes. But before that, I don't know whether he had a knock, but he wasn't really playing much. So for them to take him, I was like, "Oh right, well that's a strange one." I thought there'd be people, Bianchi, the players ahead of him. You know, in this
Yeah.
type of, if you're going to take somebody, it surprised me that they took him. To be fair, good player, 6 foot, left-footed, good striker, can finish. Famously scored 6 goals against Leeds about 12 months ago. There was a big furore. Is that the right word? I'm going to go with it. When he did score those 6 goals, and all United fans, including me, wow, wow, wow. And then he seemed to have gone off the boil for the last 12 months. It was all about JJ Gabriel, Chido Obi, and everything, the players like that. So yeah, a surprising one that he's gone there, but it can only do him good, and it must show that what the club think of him, really. So there's an opportunity for the young kid there.
I think out of all of them, Musa is the one that would end up playing in the final game of the season to get a few minutes.
Interesting.
I don't. Maybe Jim Thwaites. Maybe he could make his debut. He could be a decent one. Shea Lacey's already played for Manchester United, and obviously he's not in this squad here. But yeah, the two goalkeepers, unlikely, unless it's a complete dead rubber, that final game of the season. And I don't even know who Yohalafo is, but I will be going on to YouTube to find out
Yeah, he's
in a
a tidy
second.
player, Nathan. Actually, do you know what? When you read his name, I was like, oh. But then when I've seen his picture, I'm like, yeah, I recognise him. Yeah, tidy player. More of I think like a right back he played, from what I remember. But like I said a few times, there's loads of these kids that have got a chance. No more though than Jim Thwaites, who is potentially top class. Get him in.
Yohalafo, I'm looking at his face now. He's a very expressive person, and he looks a little bit like the is it the shrimp from Sesame Street, or it's there's a little picture of him. He
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like Pepe. Is it Pepe the shrimp? Oh, I can't remember what his name is. But
Pepe
he's
the shrimp.
yeah, yeah. No, not
Good.
Pepe Le Pew. I think he's called Pepe. Anyway, he looks very expressive like him, which yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
for
right
it.
back. He is the right back. Do you know?
Based on his
Yeah.
facial expressions, I want him in.
What he does do well, he's comfy on the ball, and he does tuck in. He does tuck in from what I remember. He's not really an overlapper. He's more of a fullback that
Underline.
likes to move into the midfield. Yeah, an underlapper. Yeah, he's very comfy on the ball actually. But yeah, decent. Good
Lovely head of
opportunity for the
hair on him
kids.
as well. Lovely head of
Very,
hair.
very,
I like the
very
fact that
impressive head of hair.
we've got a fantastic balance of you actually knowing who he is and me just describing what he looks like. So hopefully it's painted a full picture to the listeners.
Yeah,
I'll put up a picture on social media if we do use this as a clip. But yeah, let's see what happens. But Victor Musa is the one for me at the end of the season. Before we finish, Paul, I thought I'd do it's not a quiz, but I thought I'd throw this out there. Put you on the spot. 5 players, keep or sell. I'm going to name them. You
Right.
tell me which ones you're going to keep or sell at the end of the season. Ready?
Go. Yep.
Joshua Zirkzee,
Sell.
Diogo Dalot,
Sell.
Noose Mazraoui,
Keep.
Ahmad.
Keep.
Ooh, took your time there. Took your time.
Yeah.
And Patrick Dorgu, who we didn't mention, is back in the training camp squad with Lisandro Martinez as well. So they're coming back to fitness now, which is great news. But Patrick Dorgu, you keep saying we need a new left back, mate.
He's not left back. He's never been a left back. After that scream against Arsenal, new 5-year contract. There we go. I'm having that one.
Keep.
Doggy best.
There we go.
Best memes ever.
There we go.
Yeah.
Doggy best. Right. And on that bombshell, that is the end of the podcast. By the time we record again, it'll be Manchester United versus Leeds. Will probably be the day after or the morning after for that one.
Yeah.
Predictions for that?
3-0. Comfortable win.
I mean, I'll take it all day. I'm going to go 1-0. Man United, really scrappy win.
He's a problem, that Aronson. His pace is a problem. Just keep an eye on him. Get him lumped.
Get him. Yeah, I'm sure Casemiro will do that at some point.
Yeah.
And we won't want him to. Anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast, and we will speak to you again next week.